love Kinyan Shenem Chayis Atis Hashem Pogel Nafshi Belokai. By Ashri HaNefesh is Hazoich Elois Simcha, and praised is the person who is Zoicha to that Simcha. Right? Fine. Okay, we'll stop over there. That's a little bit of deep stuff that he's talking about here, but it just means you be happy, then you're allowed into the inner circle, etc. Okay. Fine. Another major daf tonight. About Sheva brachos. Where were we up to? No, on the bottom of Zayin Amud Beis. Yeah. 2 lines up from the bottom. So now we get into the whole Sheva brachos, l'kavod Paris. So birchas Chassanim basara kol Sheva. You make the birchas Chassanim, which is otherwise known as Sheva brachos, with 10 people the whole 7 days. Right? Some Rav Yehuda, Tushabao Panam Chadashes. But you need Panam Chadashes. You hear David Kushambam? You got to make sure you have Panam Chadashes tonight. Yeah, so you got to. So it's
I thought you were going to be Panam Chadashes.
I hope not, because I'm in the country.
I know.
That's your sake too.
I wish I was in the country. Yeah.
You should, with the weather. The weather up here today is something. But anyways, especially coming from
Lakewood. Can you be it on Zoom?
That's a good question, Taka. That's a good question. Can you be a Panam Chadashes on Zoom? I'd assume not. But now it's interesting. Rashi says Panam Chadash because these shilas come up all the time. What happens if a guy was at the Chasana but he didn't eat the Suda? Let's say he popped into Sheva brachos, now he comes again. So Panam Chadash, Rashi says, 5 lines, 6 lines, 7 lines up. If you weren't there yesterday, then you could be Panam Chadashes today. Right? It's interesting, Rashi. I mean, it sounds like, okay, so if I was by Sheva brachos 2 nights ago, then I could be Panam Chadashes tonight. I never heard anybody going with that sheet. But it is a big thing. A big thing doesn't mean, let's say somebody's at the Chassan and didn't wash. Can he be Panam Chadashes? So many places can say yes. Because you weren't part of the meal. Meaning Panam Chadashes, what's the pshat of Panam Chadashes? It's because there's somebody else there to share the simcha, so there's more simcha, therefore you can make these extra brachas. Right? So look at the bottom Tosfos. We have to see this Tosfos. Don't worry, it's a short one. Yeah, just because it comes up so often. Fushabo Panam Chadashes. I'm gonna read the Panam Chadashes ain't kaira ela b'bnei adam shemarben b'shvilam hasimcha yotzer. Only for people that you're going to be happy if they come. Meaning, let's say you're in a restaurant. This shilah happens all the time. You're in a restaurant, of course, you got 9 people, but you have a waiter. Can the waiter be Panam Chadashes? So will the waiter make the Chassan and Kala happy that they're by the Sheva brachos? In all probability, not. Right?
He will if they can have Sheva brachos now.
Why? Maybe that's just going to keep everybody later. Maybe they're just bent should go to sleep. They don't need to pass around the cup.
Don't you want to do Sheva brachos?
I guess you do, but some people get tired and they say, you know what, let's just go home. They're there for the food and that's it. But yeah, it could be that any yid that comes to the thing is like if you pass. We always said if you pass the chasana, you have to stop and go to the chasana. Chassan Kala don't know you. But the more people that are there, the more simcha there. So it could very well be that the waiter will be will add simcha, even if they don't know. Okay, then but lamaisa you could be mekel. But it's interesting. Women cannot be Panam Chadashes. I'm not sure I understand why not. Probably because you need a minion of men, but I don't know. I'm not sure. But either way, and the Tosfos continues the Shabbos, the Chashvina Panam Chadashes. Right, so Shabbos is always considered Panam Chadashes, so you don't need Panam Chadashes on Shabbos. That Shabbos is in itself a Panam Chadashes because you're so happy that Shabbos came. Nemar Shira, Lakan Nemar Shira, so Asam Nami, Marvin Lakava the Shabbos, the simple of Suda. So if Lakava Shabbos, he also added. The problem is that Shalosh Suda is Panim Chadashis is not, because it's not the suffix whether it's a Suda for Shabbos or whether it is a Suda on Shabbos. So therefore, that's why they say you need Panim. Some say you need Panim Chadash Shalosh Suda. Others say if somebody darshans and says Torah for Shalosh Suda, that's enough for Panim Chadash. Either way, we'll see a little bit more about Panim Chadash.
Yaakov, do you not need a minyan then on Shabbos if Shabbos is the Panim Chadashis?
Do you not need a minyan on Shabbos? No, you need a minyan in order to make Sheva brachos. You need a minyan.
Because it sounded like the Gemara was tying it. It was Tali Havaha, wasn't it? Didn't it go together?
No, I think what it means is you need Panim Chadashis. And then you need to have a minyan. Meaning you have a minyan, but you can only make the brachas with the minyan if you have Panim Chadashis.
Okay.
Right? That's definitely a requirement. Okay, so my mevarach. Some of you the baruch atah Hashem lekenem el chaylam on Samar Aleph now. Shakol bara l'chvaydai. That everything was created l'kavod Hashem. Right. So before we even start with the Sheva brachas, the first thing we do is we say a bracha that everything was done l'chvayd Hashem, and then yotzer adam, the second bracha also. That we praise Hashem for creating man. Now, what's a bar priya gofen? Doesn't say, it's not listed here, but we'll get back to that. Then the next bracha is Asher Yotzer Adam B'Tzalmoi. He created Hashem in his image, a man in his image with Tzalmoi Z'mus Tavnisoi. This can be Minam Binyan Adayad. Baruch Hashem Yotzer Adam. So this v'sogel ha'akara. You should be happy, and the barren one, which Rashi says is referring to Yerushalayim. The kibbutz banel l'saycha b'simcha. When all the children will eventually come there b'simcha, then Baruch Hashem Sameach Sin B'Vanel. And the next bracha is Sameach Tisamach Reim Ha'ovim. Right, that the Reim Ha'ovim should be happy. Kisamecha Yitzircha Gan Eden Mikedem, the same way that they were happy in Gan Eden. Right, so that's a bracha to the Chassan and Kala. Baruch Hashem Sameach Chassan V'Chala with a vav, Chassan and the Kala. Then the last bracha is Baruch Hashem Shabaros Hashem V'Simcha Chassan V'Kala. Gila Rino Dita V'Chedva V'Ava V'Achva V'Shalom V'Reyos Meher Hashem Lekeni Shema V'Rei Yehuda V'Chutz Yisrael Kol Sasam V'Kol Simcha Kol Chasam V'Kol Kala Kamatan Tzasinim Mechuvasam and Armi Mishteni Genasam Baruch Hashem V'Sameach Chassan Im HaKala. The last bracha is with the Kala. The bracha before that is the Chassan V'Kala, because the first bracha is just the way Rashi explains it. The first one, Sameach T'Samach, is giving each one of them a bracha that they should be happy with their spouses the way it was in Gan Eden. So they're not yet together. But the next bracha is benching them as a couple. So that's why it's saying V'sameach Chassan Im HaKala. Right now, there's a whole tumult here. Why some of the brachas start with Baruch Atah Hashem and some don't. Bracha Smucha L'Chaverta. I in that long Rashi exactly what the setup is. Now, where's the Bar Priya Gofen? Right. So the Bar Priya Gofen, so it depends. By the chuppah, the Bar Priya Gofen comes first. By the Sheva brachos, the Bar Priya Gofen comes last. So the Pashat, the Pshat, I think the Beis Shmuel and Ibn Ezra says that by the chuppah, you make it first because it's obvious that the Bar Priya Gofen is coming l'chvay the Chassan and the Kala. But if by Birchas Hamazon, if you're going to make the Bar Priya Gofen first, then everybody's going to think that the wine is being drunk for Birchas Hamazon, because we do the Sheva brachos after, right? So therefore they make the Bar Priya Gofen after the Sheva brachos to show that the wine is being drunk l'kavod the Sheva brachos. Now, this is an interesting thing. Where does it say that the Sheva brachos has to be affiliated with Birchas Hamazon? Right? Which l'chayr is why you have two different cups of wine, one for Birchas Hamazon and one for the Sheva brachos. So the really me'ikar adin, you can make Sheva brachos in the middle of the meal, and this comes up when you have a chasana like in the summer on a Sunday. So Sheva brachos is really over according to most opinions. I mean, Sheva brachos goes a full 7 days, but the brachos can only be made for 7 days. But miktas hayom kekuloi. So basically, you'd have to, if the chasana was before Shkia on Sunday, you have to finish the Sheva brachos by Shkia, might say Shabbos, whatever, on Shabbos. So therefore, the Sheva brachos by Shalosh Shudis has to be done before Shkia. So that messes a lot of people up. So one of the eitzes is just make Sheva brachos in the middle of the Suda and then do Birchas Hamazon later, which is not so simple, but theoretically it could be done. Right, now one other thing that comes up, which we really was on yesterday's daf, is what type of bracha is this? Is it Birchas HaNenin or is it a Birchas HaMitzvah? Right? Should have mentioned this yesterday, but this is why the first two brachos, a lot of people combine them. Because if you say that they're separate, then the Bar Priya Gofen is a Birchas HaNenin. Now what's going to happen? The guy's making Bar Priya Gofen, he's not drinking the wine. But if you put it together with the next bracha, so then it's becoming a Birchas HaMitzvah, in which case you may not have to drink the wine, which is also debatable because Masali Kedusha makes the brachas Bar Priya Gofen, he doesn't drink the wine. So is that, what type of bracha is that? That's why a lot of Masali Kedusha spill a little bit of wine onto their fingers and lick it, so that they at least have a little bit of taste of the wine. Either way, those are some of the tools that come up with Sheva. Fine. Levi Ikla Levei Rebbe. Levi traveled to Rebbe's house to Hilulya the Reb Shimon Brei by the Chasana or during the parties, whichever the Sheva brachas of Reb Shimon is done. Parich Chamesh, and he only said 5 brachas. He didn't say 6 brachas, right? Because again, Sheva brachas is including Bar Priya Gofen. So this, he said 5. Which one did he leave out? Yotzer or hadam. Ravasi Ikla Levei Ravashi Hilulya Demar Brei Berich Shis, and he said the standard 6 brachas. So how come one said yotzer adam, one didn't? The marsav chada yitzira avay. One is going that a man and woman were created as one. They were created as one, right? But they're created as one person and they were split. So therefore, you say yotzer adam. Marsav shtei yitziras avay, and the other one says that it's 2 yitziras, right? So therefore, you're going to have 2 brachas. Yeah. So then Gemara says, everybody holds that Adam and Chava were created as one, right? Marsavar, meaning they were created back to back and then they were separated. And Taisus discusses what it's talking about, whether they had 1 head, 2 heads, 2 faces, not 2 faces. So Marsavar, but the machshavas, we go with the machshava, which was to make each one separate, right? But the Maisa, we go with the Maisa, which is that they were one thing. Rav Yehuda asked the Sira, Hashem created man in his image, right? Meaning, which sounds like man was created as one entity. He created them as a male and a female, right? So, Hashem in the beginning thought that he's going to create them as 2, as a male and a female. In the end, that it was created as a male, and then the female, then they were separated. Right? Okay, so that's the Machlokes, whether you make yotzer adam or not. Ravashi iklu lebeir of kahana yom akama baruch kulu. One day, excuse me, he said all the Sheva brachos mikan ve'elach, and after that, if there were panim chadashos baruch kulu, he said all the Sheva brachos. Eloi. And if not, nefushe simcha ba'almahu, all it was is an extra simcha. So mavarach shashimcha b'ma'inoi, which is what you say before the benching. You add in those words, ba'asher baruch, which is the halacha. If you don't have panim chadashos, then you don't say the Sheva brachos. You just say the last of asher baruch, right? That's what he did for Sheva brachos. Mishiva v'shleishim, from 7 days until 30 days. Bein amar lahu machmas hilula, bein lo amar lahu machmas hilula. Whether the meal was being eaten because of the hilula, whether it was not eaten, that they just said shasimcha b'ayna before benching. If they said that the reason why they're eating a meal together is because of the hilula of the chasana, then they said shasimcha b'ayna, which we obviously don't do any of this anymore. And let's say they said that while we're eating a meal to cover the chasana, and for how long? For the rest of their lives? More answers. The Rava said no, until the end of the year. So till the end of the year, we say that the simcha continues as long as you're having the suda to cover the simcha. So Gemara says, and when do you start the bracha? When you start putting the barley into the jugs, meaning when you start making the beer for the chasana, then already you can start saying shasimcha b'ma'ina. which I used to always think that that the smorgasbord is not considered Suda's mitzvah. Sounds like from here that it is. Right? If you have the meal that you eat that before and so, let's say somebody decided to wash by the smorgasbord and decided to bench. They wouldn't say Sheva brachos, but it sounds like he should say שהשמחה במעונו. If he were to bench, he should say, that's what I would think from this Gemara. Well, it says, Aini, it's not true, but Papa Yasik la'abba mar bereu baruch mishas erisin. He said these brachas from Shas Erisin, not from the Erisin, meaning from a year before the wedding, which is obviously much earlier than when they started preparing the beer. But Papa's different because he was wealthy, and therefore everything was taken care of for him. So he never had to do any preparations for the wedding. So therefore, it started for him from Erisin. Fine. Ravina Asikle Lebrei Rav Chaviva. He arranged a shidduch for his son to the house of Rav Chaviva, meaning to Rav Chaviva's daughter. Who Baruch Mishas Eres, and he made a bracha when they got engaged. Amar Kimli B'Gavad L'Loi Hajibu. I understand that they're not going to change their mind, meaning they're not going to break the engagement. L'I Staya Milsa V'Hajibu, but it didn't end up happening, and they ended up going back, meaning they broke the engagement, which was the kedushin, so they need a get. It doesn't mean like nowadays a broken engagement, right? Which is why we stop by the Litvish, we stop making Tanoim, because to break off an engagement after the Tanoim is not so simple. Fine. Rav Tqchlifa bar Amarava iklu leBavel. He traveled to Bavel. Baruch Shis Arichta. He said 6 long brachas. The last Hilchos HaKavasei, Allah is not like him. We don't make these long brachas. Right? Rav Chaviva iklu lebei Mahula. Rav Chaviva traveled to a bris. Baruch Shas-Simcha b'Ma'ainoi. And at the bris, he said also that Simcha is in the house. The last Hilchos HaKavasei, and Allah is not like him. We don't say Shas-Simcha b'Ma'ainoi by a bris. Shem the treaty the Islay Tzareli Yanuka, because people are taught because the baby is in pain from the bris. So since the baby is in pain from the bris, that's why we don't say Shas-Simcha b'Ma'ainoi. Right? Yeah. So now, what about other Sudas mitzvahs? How come they don't make Shas-Simcha b'Ma'ainoi? So that's a kasha. Exactly. Let's say by a siyum, pidyon ben. What else? What other kind of Sudas mitzvah? That's about it. Maybe bar mitzvah. Fine. Chassan min aminyan. The Chassan count is also a common question gets asked. Does the Chassan count as one of the 10? And so the Gemara says he does. Vein aveilem min aminyan, but aveilem are not. Right? Whenever it is that you need a minion, the avil does not count. At least what the Gemara is saying now. Meitzvei Chassan and aveilem min aminyan. Price says that they both are part of the minion. The Gemara answers, Masnitza karam misalei the Rav. You're asking a kasha from Mishnah and Rav. Rav Tanu Polig. Right? Gershon's favorite teretz. Yeah, Rav is a Tanu Polig. Yeah, so therefore he I had to get you with that, Gershon. Sorry. Yeah. He's a Tanu Polig, so you can't ask any kashas on him. So Itma.
Does that mean also like for Shachris Mincha Ma'ariv? You need 11? When is it level there?
No. We didn't get to what we didn't get to brachos aveilem yet. We'll see in a minute. Yeah. So Itmar, Amar Rav Yitzchak, Amar Rav Yochanan, Chassan min aminyan, ve'en aveilem min aminyan. Chassanim are from the minion, aveilem are not from the minion. Meitzvei Chassanim aveilem min aminyan. On Talmud Beis now. So Kitanya hi beBirchas HaMazon. Right? That's talking about by Birchas HaMazon. Meaning the avil could be part of the mezumin when he's sitting Sheva. Kika Amar Rabbi Yochanan b'shura. When Rabbi Yochanan said that he's not counted, that's by the shura. Now nowadays we do a shura at the end of the levaya, right? So the people make 2 rows, the avil goes through. So we don't make any brachas. But back then they made a bracha. So the avil would not count. You need 10 besides for the avil. Yeah. So then the verse says ve'el hadam Rabbi Yitzchak Amar Rabbi Yochanan. If birchas Chassan b'asara, you count birchas Chassan with 10. But Chassan min aminyan. Birchas aveilem b'asara ve'ein aveilem min aminyan. Bracha b'shura mi'ika. Is there a bracha b'shura? Right? Meaning what we just said. There is no bracha b'shura. So what are you saying? In the streets. In the streets, they did make a bracha. They made a bracha that says, Baruch Atah Hashem, I don't know exactly what the lashon is. A bracha about being menachem avil. So there, he doesn't count. Adam, Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Yochanan, Mevarchim, Birchas Chassan Basara, Kol Sheva, v'Chassan min Aminyan, u'Birchas aveilem Basara, Kol Sheva, ve'ein aveilem min Aminyan. The bracha, Birchas Rechava, Kol Sheva v'Ika. Do we make the bracha of the Rechava in the streets the whole Sheva? Meaning, you saying that the Birchas aveilem, you don't, the avel's not part of the minyan all Sheva. What do you mean all Sheva? They only do the bracha of Nichum aveilem right after the Levaya. Right? So, okay, we'll have to get to that. So the interesting thing, right, that there's, 7 has a lot of significance. Right, 7 days of the week, seven Rikiyas, 7 days for Chassan and Kala, 7 days for a novel, right? It's yeah. So whatever. That's a different subject for a different time. Anyway, so then the Gemara says, so whatever the Gemara is leaving a kasha. What does it mean? Birchas Rechava Kol Shiva, that there's a bracha all 7. So the Gemara answers with a story. So Mishkachos of Panim Chadashas. We're talking about where there's Panim Chadashas, meaning not Panim Chadashas by the marriage, Panim Chadashas by aveilem, where there's new aveilem. Ki hadar Rav Chia bar Ava Mikri Banea Reish Lakish Hava. He was the reader of the kids of Reish Lakish. When he taught the kids of Reish Lakish, Tamila Masni Brei Reish Lakish Hava. He was the Mishnah teacher. One he was the pasuk teacher, Mikri, and one was he was the Mishnah teacher. Either way, he was the tutor. So Shachav leYanuka, and Reb Chia's kid was Nifter. Right? So Yom Kama loy azul lekabei. So the first day Reish Lakish didn't go to him, right? To his kid's tutor. Lemachar Dabeli Yehuda bar Nachmani Mitugamina. So he spoke to Yehuda bar Nachmani, his metorgaman, his translator. Amalei kum ema milsa, come ema milsa kol kabel yanuka. Let's go say something about the child. Let's go be menachem avol about the child that was nifter. So pasach va'ama. So the metorgaman said, "Vayar Hashem v'yenot mikas banav u'benoisav," and Hashem saw, and he got angry from his kids. So dar sha'avas menatim lakadosh baruch Hu. So if it's a dar that the kids upset Hashem, kayas al b'neim v'al b'nesayim, he becomes angry at their kids. U'meisim k'shem ketanim, and because of that they die when they're young. Ikadamri bacharav, and some say there wasn't a kid that was nifta. It was a bachar. V'achi kamarle alkein abachurav leYismach Hashem v'esisam v'salmanotav leYiracheh. Right, he shouldn't be happy over the young people, and don't have rachmanis on the widows. Kikulei chanav u'meireya v'chol peh davar nevala, because they're all chanifim and they're bad, and everybody's speaking bad. And because even with all this, he still is angry, and his hand is still stretched out on Klal Yisrael. That his hand is still stretched out. Everybody knows why Kala goes to the chuppah. Ella, meaning because she wants intimacy. Ella kolam a novel piv, but somebody who speaks about nivel peh might see davar nevalami piv, and he says the davar nevalam in his mouth. Afilu nechtam like zardina shel shivim shana l'toiva. Even if he has a zardin of 70 years l'toiva, nepach alav l'ra, it'll get swapped out for bad. So that's what it means that his hand is still stretched out. This is one of the only sources against nivel peh. Right? Where does it say in the Torah you can't talk nivel peh? Now I don't know if nivel peh means cursing. I don't know, but to talk like a manuvel, this is the source in the Gemara that it's very bad. It's very bad. You could have 70 years of hakonas that are supposed to be good for you, and because you talk like a manuvel, you lose it all. Yeah. Anyways, so what does this have to do with the Torah? Yeah.
How do you have a gazar din for 70 years? Doesn't it go year by year?
Oh, so that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question right there. Don't you know it's the summer? We're not supposed to deal with loaded questions like that. Okay. Wait for Elul.
Right.
No, it could be. I mean, the basic answer is that you could theoretically have a gzar din for 70 years, and if you botch it, then you have to renew your vows with Hashem, basically. But theoretically, somebody could have But then you get into what are you davening for Rosh Hashanah? What are you davening all year for, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's all part of that.
Don't we have something by Amenia Heshemei Rabbah also gets switched around? We tear up Gezeres.
The other way around, bad to good.
Then it works. So you're saying if somebody talks, that's what you're saying, Rabban, is that if you talk like a manure about a chasana, that are by Meirav at the chasana, scream out a Yeshmei Rabbah, maybe you'll be back in the same spot. That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, but okay.
I thought he was asking the other way. By that Gemara of Ameni Heshmei Rabbah, Gemara there says that a Gzar Din L'Toiv can never be ripped up. Gzar Din L'Ra can be.
Here you're seeing opposites. Yeah, we had that. Yeah, in Shabbos.
Was that Yavama? Shabbos? What was it? Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Yeah.
So how does it work here?
I guess you see the severity of talking like a manuvel.
It's a promise of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu himself promises, I'll never go back on a Gzeir L'Toiv.
Right. Yeah, but there it says that if you messed up, then you could lose it. Something the Gemara that says, no?
And let's say the guy is 50 years old, how does he undo the 70?
I don't know. No, he's saying even if you have such a good
Gzar Din. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And bottom line is, don't talk like a manuvel. That's how much we can take out of you. Right? So anyway, we still haven't gotten to the teretz. So either way, the Gemara first asks, also the nechume tzura kamatzarli. So what? You coming to give this guy a nechama? Not this guy, but you're coming to give him to be menachem. You just told him that Hashem punishes us and takes away children because we don't behave. Right? So where are you going? Come to the guy and tell the guy, by the way, the reason why your kid died is because we don't behave. Right? So that's what Gemara saying. What kind of nechama is that? So I said, you're so chashuv that you are being punished for the whole dar. Right? So therefore, that's also Gemara in Shabbos. So that is, I guess, a nechama for him. Right? By telling him that, that's your the tzaddikim suffer for the dar. Fine. So Amar Lei, they said back to him, Kum Ema Milsa Keneged Shvacha Shel Kadosh Baruch Hu. So get up and say a shvach of Kadosh Baruch Hu. Meaning, first he said he was a menachem. Then he said, okay, I guess he was happy with the job he did. So now say a bracha about Hashem. So Rashi says he started with Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Hakel Hagadol, right? Because the Gemara doesn't say he started Baruch Atah Hashem, but that's what it means. Hakel Hagadol Baroiv Godloi Adir V'Chazak Baroiv Neiros Mechayim Meisim B'Mamorei Oisei Gedolos Adein Cheken V'Flois Adein Mispar Baruch Atah Hashem Mechayei HaMeisim. So now he said an extra bracha on Hashem. Amalei Kum Ema Milsa Keneged aveilem, to say something Keneged the aveilem. Right? So Pasuk Amar Achenu Hamayugam Hamadukaim that you're tired and in bad place. Ba'evel Azeh Tenu Levachim Lachter Azais Zais He I made this La'ad. This is gonna be forever. Meaning, Rashi says everybody dies. Don't cry more than you have to, more than you should, because this is part of life. No pun intended. Part of life is dying. Everybody has to die. That's the way it's set up, right? Nesivhu misheshis yimei bereshis, and this is the road since sheshis yimei bereshis. That's the way it goes. Rabim shasu, rabim yishtu. Many have drunk, and many will drink, meaning of death. Kimishter rishayim, kach mishter achrayim. The same way the old ones drank the death, so too others are also. Achenu ba'al nechamis yinachem eschem. So the person who's the ba'al nechamis, meaning I'm assuming Hashem, Shmi Menachem Yubaruch Menachem aveilem. Which Rabbeinu, I don't understand something. He's saying that death was from Sheshis Mebereshis. I thought death only happened after Eitzadah. What? Yeah, but it wasn't. Sheshis Mebereshis meaning it was. No, but that's not.
What'd you say?
The Gemara is saying that death was from Sheshis Mebereshis.
Yeah.
Death
then
only happened. That wasn't part of the.
No.
Right. So my brother Yisrael sitting here, he says that happened on the sixth day.
What? That's it. Yeah, it happened on the sixth day.
So then that's part of Sheish Yemei Bereshis. I don't really buy that. Before Shabbos. What? Yeah, but that's when it says Sheish Yemei Bereshis, isn't that meant like that's the way the world was created to have death? I don't know. It's too simple a question, so we can't possibly.
Hevel died in Sheish Yemei Bereshis.
Hevel was also Sheish Yemei Bereshis?
Well, Adam Arishan composed Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos because of Cain's tshuva.
Right. Yeah, but again, it's only after the Eitzah Neitzadah. Had they not even Neitzadah,
how is Hevel
after the Eitzah Adam Arishan created Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos. What happened is when he was supposed, the Shabbos came and protested to the Rebbeinu Shalom, says, now on this first Shabbos you're gonna kill somebody. No, that's not happening. So that's when the Mauritian said Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos. They both created that Mizmor Shel Shabbos, and the other Mauritian created Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos. You say it in the davening also.
Right. So what do you? So okay. So
how is Hevel?
He's saying when it happened.
Right. I don't know. Yeah.
They said
no,
okay.
How is Hevel killed during Sheish Yemei Bereshis?
It all happened then in one day.
Chava got pregnant, had 2 children. This is new to me. Okay.
Yeah,
Four children.
All this.
Four children.
Yeah.
All okay.
It's very
busy week.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we want to blow this out of the road.
Was it 4 or 5? Reb Gershon, was it 4 or 5? One had 2 twins.
I think the 5th was Matzah Shabbos, no?
Okay.
I think.
Anyway. All right, so let's see. The bottom line is we're not getting to the bottom line, right? Right, so that was the second bracha that he made. Amar Abaya. Okay, so whatever it is, so this is the Gemara's teretz now, that these brachas were made during the aveilem. So in order to make these brachas, you would need a minyan. Right, so Amar Abaya, Rabim Shatu, right? So this is also an important Gemara. Rabim Shatu Lema, right? Only say that he disagrees. Before he said people have drunk the cup of death and they will drink. Abaya says no. Just say that people have had it. Rabim Yishtu Loi Lema. Don't say that they will. Right? Mishta Rishayna Lema, Mishta Achrayim Loi Lema. Right? Meaning only say what happened in the past. Don't say that there's going to be death in the future. Why? You should not you should not open your mouth to the Satan. Right? We were like Sodom and like Amora. Maya Hadale, and what did Nabi tell them back? So right when they said we were acting like Sodom and Amora, then they already got called that. Meaning the mouth has power. We had this in brachos, right? That the mouth does have power, and therefore you shouldn't say such things. Which again I don't understand, because we just got finished saying everybody's going to die. So what do you mean? What? That people are going to die? Isn't that part of nature? The Gemara just got finished saying that's part of nature. The nechama was, don't get too stressed out about death, because that's part of life. Okay, so now you can't say that people are going to die. So what are they going to do? They're going to live forever? Well, why? But
maybe
why?
Mashiach will come.
Yeah, but what's wrong?
Maybe you're pushing off. You're pushing off Mashiach coming.
After Tchias HaMesim, people die again.
Okay, I don't know. That's it. Okay, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure that that's the Pashat Pshat. Right.
Just saying, you don't want to say it will continue.
Yeah,
that's all. That's what I thought the Gemara was saying.
Yaakov, we had in Moya Cotton that you're supposed to speak positive, like Avram said by the Akedah, that he's going to be back. We have it. We had it in Moya Cotton. You're supposed to speak positive.
What? You got to speak
positive.
We're supposed to speak
Yeah. So he's saying, when he's saying Rabbi Shosik, Rabbi Yishti, don't say Rabbi Yishti. Then what do you got to say that for? Why bring it up?
Because it's a fact of life.
Okay, but why bring it up? There's a lot of facts of life, but why bring it up? Just
okay,
you know.
Okay, all right. You and my brother agree. Fine. Okay, so that's that. So Amrle, kum ema milsa keneged menachem aveilem. Now let's say something about the people that are coming to be menachem aveilem. Pasuk Amar achenu goim lechasadim bnei goim lechasadim. Goim lechasadim. The sons of goim lechasadim hamachzikim bebrisa shel Avram Avinu. Hashem ki yidatu l'man asher yitzav es banav achenu bal hagmul yishalem lechem gemulchem. May the person who pays people back pay you back. Baruch atah Hashem mishalem hagmul. Amrle. Then he said to him, kum ema milsa keneged kol Yisrael. Say something for Klal Yisrael. Pasuk Amar Ribono Olam Padav Hatzel Meilat Haisha Amcha Yisrael. These are all the shyness of saving. Min HaDever, Umin HaCherev, Umin HaBiza, Umin HaShidafen, Umin HaYarkan. These are all like plagues. Mikol Mini Peranis HaMasrakshas Avois L'Olam Terem Nikra. Right before you even have to call him, Ba'ata Sana. Right, Baruch Atah Hashem Yotzer HaMagefa U'Stamta Magefa. Fine. Okay, so those are other brachos. Amar Ulav Amilam Masisa Tan. I think in this Gemara, the aveilem. Yeah.
What's pshat in achenu? He used the word achenu for both Klal Yisrael and the Rebbeinu Shalom in the same bracha.
He does?
In the last one. Achenu bala gvul yishalim lechem, that's the end of it. But at the beginning, you said,
no, I think it's
achenu
kama. No, I think achenu is achenu kama. Bala gamul yishalim lechem gemulchem. The achenu there is referring to Klal Yisrael.
Well, the first time, in the first bracha that he said, at the beginning of the white lines, I think, he also said achenu, about the Eibishter.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah? I thought it was referring always to Klal Yisrael.
One of them was Klal Yisrael, one of them was...
Let's finish the top before anybody has to go to Mincha. Fine. So Amar Ulav Amilam Masisa Tana Asara Kaisis Tiknu Chachamim Bebeis Ha'avil. They were mistaken to drink 10 cups of wine in a Beis Ha'avil. Right? Contrary to popular belief, you're allowed to drink wine in a Beis Ha'avil. Only an Ayman can't drink wine. A Beis Ha'avil, they could drink wine. Right? Shlosh, I think they get it from the 9 days. So the 9 days you can't drink wine. But Lamaisa, that's not. It's a separate reason why that is. Anyway, Shlosh Karda Machila, 3 before eating. Right? So Rashi says that's not part of the regular meal. In order to, like it has an appetizer to open up the stomach. Shloisha b'tzayich achila, 3 during the meal. K'dei lishris achila shebemeyav, in order to soak the food that's in the stomach. V'arba l'achar achila, and 4 after eating. Echad k'neged hazon, v'echad k'neged birchas haaretz, v'echad k'neged bnei Yerushalayim, v'echad k'neged hatoy v'ametis. Right? Hasifu aleim arba, and then they added on 4 more cups. Echad k'neged chazanei ha'ir. Right, one for the Chassan, ve'echad k'neged parnasei ha'ir, for the mafarnasim of the city, ve'echad k'neged beis hamikdash, ve'echad k'neged Rabbi Gamliel, one for Rabbi Gamliel. Says chilu ha'yushayin m'shtakin. Right, so this is mamish for our chevra here. Then they started getting drunk. From which one? From the extra 4. From the extra 4 cups, they started getting drunk. So ziru adav liyashna, they went back to liyashna, right, which Rashi says is the 10 kaises. The 10 kaises didn't make them drunk, right? But others would disagree and say no, they went back to stopping at all. Fine. My Rebbe Gamliel, what's Rebbe Gamliel? The Tanya Berishayna, in the beginning, the death of relatives was more difficult than the Misa. Actually, meaning because it was impossible, it was so expensive to make a funeral. But Rashi says that they used to bury them in fancy caskets, right? And people couldn't afford it, so they would just dump their mace in the street and let somebody take care of the mace. They would leave in Ubarchan and they would run away. Till Rabbi Gamliel came, but no, Kalas Ba'atzmoi, he himself made himself Kal, but to you, B'Kli Pishton, and they took him out in Kli Pishton, meaning Tachrichin, what we call the Nagu Cholam Achav Loitzi B'Kli Pishton, and that became the Minig. Nowadays, they even bury in like canvas, Rashi says. That's not even worth a dinner. That's how cheap it was. Basically, Rabbi Gamliel was mizvaza himself in order to bring down the standard. So the Meiri, the article actually brings the Meiri that says that community leaders have to be careful with the way they spend, so that they don't cause the standard to go up. Anyways, Okay, we'll stop here. 10 to 6. Yeah, 10 to 6 and 10 o'clock. What's the show?
Okay, very good. I was just about to ask you. Okay.
Yaakov, I think it's a Gemara somewhere that not just that it's mutter for wine by an avel. I thought that was the reason why wine was created was to be menachem aveilem. I forgot where it is. I remember seeing it somewhere that was the whole reason why Hashem created yain. So it's not so schwer that they had that they were mishtaka. That's sort of that was actually the point.
What? That was the point of wine.
Of wine in general was not. I mean, I don't know, shikr, but to be menachem level to sort of calm them down.
Interesting. Somebody actually brought in the morning chabur this morning. It came up that wine. Maybe that's why wine was created. That's what you're referring to?
Yeah, I don't remember where it was. I heard it recently.
I think we had it originally in brachos.
Maybe is it Gemara and brachos?
I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Fine. All right. When'd you get back, Josh?
10-ish last night. Then I left late. It was a much easier trip than coming in. Baruch Hashem. Half the time.
By the way, Rabbi, I hope you have as much traffic as I had tomorrow.
Well, you didn't have any?
Took me 2 hours from Woodburn. I'm back.
Wow.
I dav mincha Woodburn 5:45. What?
That makes sense. You missed
I missed everything. I davened mincha at 5:45 in Woodburn. I went to buy something. I left like 6:15. I'm coming up to Lowe's already.
Nice.
Yeah,
I could have used the bracha like that coming in for the Chassan. Although it wasn't traffic that did me in.
All the time lately. What was it?
New York is insane.
Oh, I'm tired. I deal with it every day.
It's not normal. I'm so happy I moved out. Just so I could come back and see how insane it is.
Takes me an hour and 50 minutes to get home from the city at night.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Well.
Cult of Yoshikaya.
Bye.